Welcome to Monster Maker 212. My name is Rafi and today I'll be making a tree spirit. I start with a piece of cardstock. This is just printer paper. Take my scissors and I start cutting in strips, just like so. Now, I'll take my X-Acto knife and I roll my papers into it, just like this. I'll be doing this with all the strips that I cut. At this point, I'll cut the strips into half. I'm gonna need 5 pieces for the whole body. I use my scissors to do this. Now that I have all my pieces cut, I start crumbling them. Give them a little bit of shape. This will help me out to get the look of a tree trunk. I'll do this with all the parts. Now I take my toilet paper. I will get some pieces. And this I will use to wrap around the parts. Like this. Just enough to wrap around at least once. Then I'm gonna use a mixture of white glue and water. It's a 50-50 mix. And I'm just gonna damp them a little bit with it. This will help it get strong and hard. I'll do that with all the parts, set them aside to dry, and do the next step. Now all the pieces are dry, and I can start putting the monster together. I will shoot this part for the legs, and this other one for the other leg. Now for the arms, I was supposed to use these other two, but as you can see, they're too thick. So I need to make them a little thinner. Now this looks more like it. Now that I have everything where I need it to be, I'll use my glue gun. I put some glue in this part right here. This is the leg. Just a little bit, not too much. And then I'll join it with the body. I'll continue doing this with all the parts until the monster is assembled. Now that my monster is all together, I'll take my X-Acto knife and I'll poke a hole to make the mouth. As you can see, I marked it. It makes it easier for me to follow the shape. I'll do the same with the eyes, and then when I'm done, I'll show you the next step. Now that I'm done with the mouth and the eyes, I will take my glue gun and I will start filling up the mouth. I want to cover every hole, and the glue gun will help me get texture to it at the end when I'm painting. I'll do that with the eyes too, and go for the next step. Now I'm gonna start the sculpting part. I'm using this paper mache clay that I made out of toilet paper and white glue. It's a simple mixture that I found in the internet. It works really good for this kind of stuff. Now I'm taking just a little bit of it and I'm gonna start putting it on the legs at the bottom to make the feet. I'm following the bumps that the legs already have, like the roots of a real tree. I just put this piece over here and I start sculpting it. I'll give it some shape. After a while, you see that it looks like feet, and the tree will get more life. I just push it around until I get the shape that I want. Then I'll just move on to the next part. Again, following another shape of the leg, I'll keep sculpting, and as you can see, it looks more like feet. Now that I'm done with the feet, I can start with the painting. I'm using black acrylic paint for this. because my monster will look like it's burning from the inside and it's ashy and burnt on the outside. So the black base coat will help achieve this effect. I'm using this pebble tip brush, but you can use any brush you want. Now I just cover the whole monster with the paint. Make sure that I get into every nook and cranny. Those other holes that I made are for the effect that I want to give it, that burning effect. You'll see in a minute how it looks. After I cover the whole monster, I'll show you the next step. I finished painting my monster, but then I noticed that it was missing something. I forgot to put the branches coming out of the head before I painted it. So I went outside, got me a couple of pieces of branches, and I stick them together. And this is how it looks. Perfect. Now for painting the details, I'm using this small brush. I'm gonna paint the mouth, the eyes, and all the other holes that I carved into the monster. I'll start painting with the yellow, but I'm not painting all the parts. I'm just painting in certain areas. Later I'll blend the yellow with the orange. It will give like a fire burning effect inside the holes. I'll continue this and blend the orange next. Now I'm blending the orange with the yellow. As you can see, I'm painting those areas that I didn't paint in yellow and a little bit on top of the yellow. I'll keep working this, giving it the fire effect in the mouth. If you see in the mouth, it's kind of starting to look like it's burning. I'll continue doing all the holes again and then come back for the next step. Now I want to give this monster a dry brush. I'm using a gray acrylic paint. You can use whatever paint you have. And just grab a brush. I'm using this small brush that I have. It's a little hairy on top. Just dip it and wipe most of the paint off of the brush. And then just lightly pass it on the monster. Just hitting the raised parts of the monster. This effect will give it some depth and shadows. And at the end it's gonna look awesome. Now this is the end result. It turned out really good, I think. So if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit the like button. And as always, keep creating.